Okay, so we're diving deep into the world of data and AI. We've been checking out Databricks October 2024 update, and
Big things.
yeah, it looks like they've been really busy.
Absolutely. They're laser focused on, well, you could say making AI work harder and smarter, especially for, users like you.
That's what we like to hear. One of the things that caught my eye is how they are really pushing their Mosaic AI platform. I always get excited about new AI features. What about you? What really stood out to you?
Well, this update is it's pretty major, especially for people doing large-scale AI work. Specifically, Mosaic AI model serving is now supporting batch inference.
Okay, I have to stop you right there for a second. For our listeners who might not be familiar with batch inference, can you break that down for us a bit? What is it and why is it such a big deal?
Sure. So imagine like you're building some kind of, say, generative AI application, and this application, it has to process like millions of images or something, right?
Right.
So batch inference means that you can just feed all of that data, all those images, in this example, in one go, instead of processing each image one by one.
So instead of processing things one by one, it's like hitting the turbo button.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But with great power comes a potential data hurricane, right? How do they keep things organized with all that data flying around?
That's where structured outputs come in, which they've also thankfully added support for in Mosaic AI. Basically, what that means is that you can define exactly how you want your AI responses formatted, and then it will package it up nicely, typically using JSON. And this makes it super easy to then use that data in other systems, send it off to different places without any hassle.
That's slick. All this talk of processing power makes me wonder about their serverless compute options. Have those been improved at all?
Yeah, actually, there's some good news there. They've expanded serverless compute to even more regions, so you've got more flexibility.
Yeah.
But here's the real kicker. For eligible accounts, it's going to be automatic now.
So less configuration headache for developers.
Exactly. Less time messing around with configurations and more time actually focusing on what matters, your data.
That's music to any data scientist's ears. But of course, more power usually comes with a slightly bigger price tag. Anything new on the cost control front?
Well, they've obviously thought about that, and they've introduced these new budget policies that basically let you track spending down to the user level.
So it's like giving everyone on the team their own data allowance.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps things predictable and prevents any surprise bills.
Now that's what I call responsible innovation.
But of course, all this power is useless if the data isn't secure. What's new on the security front?
They've seriously upped their data governance game, that's for sure. Now we're talking fine-grained access control, like down to the row and column level, even for single-user compute. It's like giving everyone a personalized data vault.
Yeah, exactly. And this is huge for companies, right, who have to be careful about compliance and things like that. It's all about making sure the right people have access to the right information and nothing else.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, on the topic of control, I saw that they've also introduced something called Databricks apps, which sounds intriguing. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so you know how developers are always looking for ways to build custom tools and stuff?
Of course, always pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. So now with Databricks apps, they can actually build applications directly on the platform using their, favorite Python frameworks.
So it's like having a custom app store, but just for your data tools.
On it.
That's pretty neat. And on that note, it also seems like they're making the platform itself more user-friendly, even for those of us who aren't coding ninjas. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, definitely. They've made some nice quality of life improvements. Like, for example, the notebook interface got a refresh, which is, where a lot of the magic happens.
So tell me more about this notebook interface refresh. What exactly is different and how does it improve things for users?
Well, for one, they've added these persistent filters, which are a really nice touch. And they've also seriously improved the commenting features. Little things like that can make a big difference when you're talking about collaboration, especially in the world of data science where you're often working with a team.
Collaboration is key. So these updates are making it easier for teams to work together seamlessly.
Exactly. And for anyone who has ever, battled with the auto load feature, they've given that a serious upgrade as well.
Oh, that's always a good thing. For those of us who might not be in the coding trenches every day, can you explain what kind of headaches that solves?
Sure. So imagine, you're working on your code, you make some changes, and boom, you see those changes reflected instantly without having to, restart your entire environment. It just makes for a much smoother workflow.
It's like having a mini refresh happening in the background all the time.
Exactly. Saves developers so much time and frustration. And speaking of making life easier for developers, we can't forget about the Databricks assistant. They've made some pretty significant enhancements there as well.
Oh, yeah, their AI-powered helper. What's new and improved on that front?
It's gotten even smarter, if you can believe it. Think of it like, well, imagine having a coding buddy who can almost anticipate your needs. They've improved the slash commands and the autocomplete suggestions, so it's becoming an even more powerful tool for, well, really anyone who wants to code faster and just, be more efficient.
Like having a super-powered sidekick for all your data science adventures. I love it. So we've talked about a lot of positives, which is great. But with any major update like this, I imagine there might be a few potential downsides or challenges that come along with it. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a fair point. And you're right. With any major software release, there are always going to be, a few bumps in the road. It's still early days. So we'll have to wait and see how these new features actually perform in, real world scenarios.
Sure, it's like getting a shiny new gadget. The excitement is definitely there, but there might be a few quirks to figure out along the way.
Exactly. But, overall, I think the potential benefits of this release, they far outweigh any initial hiccups. I'm very optimistic about it.
I tend to agree with you. The potential here is huge. So for our listeners who are probably just as eager as we are to get their hands on this update, what should they do?
Well, the good news is that the Databricks Runtime 16.0, which includes a lot of these new features we've been talking about, is actually already available in beta. So if you're feeling adventurous and want to dive in head first, you absolutely can.
And for those who prefer maybe a little more guidance, are there resources available to help them get started?
Absolutely. Databricks has a ton of great documentation and tutorials on their website that can walk you through everything.
Perfect. We'll be sure to include links to all of that in the show notes for our listeners. Now, shifting gears just a bit, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier, data governance and compliance. It's such a critical aspect of data management these days, so I'm curious to know what kind of enhancements Databricks has made in this area.
They've really leveled up Unity Catalog. That's their central data governance solution. They've added a bunch of new features and improvements.
And that's particularly relevant for companies that handle sensitive data, right?
Absolutely, especially with all the data privacy regulations out there these days. But it's not just about checking the compliance boxes, though.
Right, it's bigger than that.
Yeah. It's about, building trust with your users, with your customers.
Yeah.
When you can show them that you're handling their data responsibly, it just strengthens your reputation and gives everyone peace of mind.
Trust is paramount in the digital age, for sure. So it sounds like Databricks is trying to make it easier for organizations to strike that balance between data accessibility and robust security.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance, but, they seem to be hitting the mark with this release.
It's a fine line to walk, for sure. But it's essential for fostering a thriving, data-driven culture, right? They're acknowledging that security is not an afterthought. It's a fundamental pillar of a successful data platform.
Absolutely. And they're backing it up with real action, which is what matters. This commitment to security and governance, it's reassuring for any organization.
It's a clear signal that they're serious about providing a secure and reliable environment for their users.
100%.
So for our listeners who are, responsible for data security or compliance in their organizations, this release is definitely worth a closer look, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Don't just take our word for it. Dive into the documentation, explore the new features, and see how they can benefit your organization.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive on the Databricks October 2024 update, I wanted to revisit something you mentioned earlier about how Databricks seems to be aiming to lead the AI revolution. This release really does seem to embody that ambition.
It absolutely does. They're not just, keeping pace with the trends. They're actively shaping the future of data and AI.
It's exciting and a little bit daunting, to be honest. What do you envision for the future? I mean, both for Databricks and for the world of data and AI in general.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? No one has a crystal ball, unfortunately. But, we can look at the trajectory of this release for some clues.
Right, what are the breadcrumbs telling us?
Exactly. And I think we can anticipate even greater strides in, say, AI accessibility, which is huge. Making these tools available to a wider audience is going to be game-changing. We'll likely see even more advancements in serverless computing, which will allow organizations to really scale their resources seamlessly. And, well, I think the emphasis on data governance, that's only going to continue to grow in importance as we move forward.
It sounds like we're on the cusp of a future where data and AI are even more deeply integrated into, everything. It has the potential to transform how we work, how we learn, how we interact with the world around us.
Precisely. And, while this new era definitely holds like immense promise, it also comes with, a responsibility, right? We
Yeah.
have to make sure these technologies are developed and used ethically and responsibly.
Couldn't agree more. It's a conversation that needs to be happening in tandem with all these technological advancements. We need to be mindful of the potential implications and make sure we're using these tools for good.
Absolutely. We have a collective responsibility to steer these innovations in a direction that benefits all of humanity and not just a select few.
Well said. It's an ongoing dialogue that requires all of us to participate. Developers, business leaders, policymakers, even everyday citizens. Now, bringing it back to the Databricks October 2024 release, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the nitty-gritty details of these new features to the bigger picture of what it all means for the future.
It's been a deep dive in the truest sense of the word. And, sometimes it's those big picture questions that really get you thinking.
Absolutely. And this release really drives home the point that Databricks is not messing around. They are not just keeping up, they are leading the charge.
Yeah, they're setting the pace. And speaking of the future, no conversation about cutting-edge tech is complete without a little bit of, future gazing.
Oh, I love a good thought experiment. So let's imagine for a second that this level of data access, this AI capability we've been talking about, it just becomes normal. How do you think that would change things? The way we work, the way we learn, even the way we think.
Wow. It's almost like trying to picture the world before the internet, right?
Yeah.
It's that fundamental. This level of data integration could reshape industries. It could redefine education. It could even change how we solve problems as a society.
It's no longer just about faster algorithms or more efficient data processing. It's about the power to unlock entirely new possibilities in every aspect of life.
Exactly. And I think this is crucial. As with any transformative technology, we have to navigate this new landscape carefully, responsibly. We have to make sure these advancements benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. It's a responsibility that falls on all of us, really. The developers building these tools, the individuals using them, we all have a part to play in shaping this future.
Couldn't agree more. It's a conversation, a collaboration that needs to happen across disciplines, across industries, really across all of society.
Well said. So for our listeners who are ready to jump into this world, to explore these new possibilities for themselves, where should they go?
Well, we've got you covered. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to all the resources we've mentioned. There are articles, there's documentation, even some hands-on tutorials to help you get started.
Consider it your treasure map to the exciting world of Databricks and beyond. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data and AI.
Thanks for joining us.